All right, so for question 32, we are looking at 1 to the 43rd power. So key thing to keep in mind, it's I, it's not just a random letter. I actually means something. I means square root of -1. And for the next couple of questions, we will also look at the letter I. Now, when we talk about I, we also talk about the exponents. So we have I to the first power, which is simply I square, which is the square root of -1 times the square root of -1. That would give us -1. Okay, so you square the square root, and square root, they cancel each other out. So that's -1. And I cube, it's negative I, because I cube is the same thing as I times I square. And we knew about I squared being -1. So I cube, it's simply negative I. And I to the 4th power, it's simply -1 times -1, which is equal to +1. Okay. So I to the 4th power, it's I squared times I squared. So -1 times -1, it's equal to +1. Now, why do we care about these four? Because it turns out that it will become a pattern. So if I say what's I to the 5th power, well, I to the 5th power, it's going to be, well, I to the 4th times I, and I to the 4th power is just 1. So you have I as your answer. So it repeats itself after every 4. And we also know that if the power is a multiple of 4, it's equal to 1. Okay, it's a very consistent pattern. So what I would suggest you to do is to think about I to the 43rd power. What is the nearest multiple of 4 right under 43? And that will be 40. So we say I to the 43 power is the same thing as I to the 40th power times I cube. And the reason why we break this down is because I to the 40th power, it's simply 1, okay? I to any multiple of 4, it's equal to 1. And I cube, it's negative I. So you have negative I as your answer. Okay. Now, there should not be any circumstances that your answer will contain a letter I that is with a power of 2 or greater. It should be either with a simple I or just no I at all. Okay. So that's question 32.